Well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a happy Thanksgiving holiday weekend, and we certainly have a lot to be grateful for. And first of all, we are in gratitude to our teacher, Jetsima Akamamo, for bringing us this temple, these teachings, and the Sunday morning program. And I also think we're very grateful to have our teacher here today, Atira Zeoli. So thank you so much, Atira. And so we will have our morning teaching and meditation. And please join in, whether you're here or if you're listening and tuning in from in any part of the country or wherever you may be. So we will begin. Thank you.
전삼 뱀마게 쌀dom보다 야tzen 조기 노르네 뱀마존네 제수락 월드간 조망보고 겟기 제수락 주기 진지록 칠색수소 Guru Pama Siddhi Om Organ Yogi Num Jansam Pema Ge Sardom Pola Yatsen Chogi Nodrugne Pema Jone Jesura Ordu Kandro Mangpo Ketki Jesurak Druki Jinji Lok Chir Shek Suso Guru Pama Siddhi Om Organ Yogi Num Jansam Pema Ge Sardom Pola Yatsen Chogi Nodrubne Pema Jone Jesurak Ordu Kandro Mangpogor Ketki Jesudak Druki Jinji Lok Chir Shek Suso Guru Pema Siddhi Om. Good morning. You can sit anywhere. Welcome everyone. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, post happy Thanksgiving leftover weekend. Kempo is out of town, so I'm the last minute substitute teacher. So I didn't have much time to prepare, so I don't have a lot to say. We're going to spend most of our time meditating today. So I normally teach the Saturday class, so we're going to do some of the meditations that we normally do on Saturdays, and we can try them here. The first meditation that we'll be trying is a stabilizing the mind meditation. This is single-pointed concentration. And this meditation is very relaxing for the mind, and it's very grounding and stabilizing. Usually our minds are just running around and leading us by the nose, kind of, just chasing after whatever we want or running from whatever we have aversion to, and just following our ingrained habits over and over again, kind of mindlessly, just acting out of our usual habits. And maybe you saw some of that at your Thanksgiving dinner, because a lot of times our families bring out a lot of our really ingrained relational habits, So, you can kind of see that sometimes. You go back, you're like, I'm an adult. Why do I feel like I'm 5 years old again in this conversation? And you just find yourself back in that same groove with people. But we're always kind of operating out of a deep groove, deeply ingrained habits that we've been practicing since long before this life, since time out of mind, and just acting mostly out of self-concern, trying to protect ourselves, trying to make ourselves happy, and going about it very ignorantly, with ways that don't actually result in happiness, because we sow seeds of greed and jealousy and anger and pride, and that's never going to make us happy. If you plant an orange seed, you get an orange tree. Plant apple seed, you get an apple tree. If you're planting seeds of greed and jealousy and pride, that tree's not going to grow happiness. So we plant seeds of caring for others, of love, compassion, joy, equanimity. Those seeds grow into trees of happiness for ourselves and others. So if we want to change the habits that we have, if we're always acting out of our habits, one of the first things that we have to do is address that reactivity that we have, that automatic reactivity, reacting out of habit. We have to kind of intercept that and slow ourselves down a bit, put some space in there so that we have room to not just, to see what we're doing, to see our mind react, and instead learn how to respond instead of react, and to interrupt that pattern. So bringing awareness to what our mind is doing at any time, that's part of our practice. Paying attention to what we are creating in our mind, the causes we're creating in our mind. So like this practice that we're going to do is very stabilizing to the mind, like I said. When we normally are just allowing our minds to run and think of all of our plans for the future and replay the conversations that we had last week, and maybe you had an argument last week and now you can think of a really good comeback 2 weeks later, and you think about, like, if I ever have to talk to that person again, this is what I'm going to say. And and we just think of all sorts of imagined scenarios. Maybe you think of, like, boy, I'd like to win the lottery, and then you spend time daydreaming about what you would do if you won the lottery, and you don't have that money. Like, you're just spinning out in your head about stuff that is not coming to pass. And all of this mental activity, we don't even realize how exhausting it is for ourselves. It's really, really exhausting to always be so stimulated and reactive to everything. And we never really allow our minds to just rest. So when we want to chill out, maybe we pull out our phone and we scroll on our phone and we maybe think that this is helping us rest, but it's not. It's really stirring us up and stirring up our emotions and stimulating our thoughts. And we think, maybe I'll just put on some Netflix or something. I'll watch a movie or watch some TV. And that does the same thing. And also it kind of feels, your body's relaxing. You're just like chilling on the couch, but it actually is very stimulating to your mind. But when we meditate, we actually let our mind rest. So we can pay attention to, like, we can spend more time in meditation, and we can also pay attention to, in our daily lives, what are we doing with our mind? Am I stimulating my mind? Am I stirring up my emotions right now? Am I, like, getting myself all, am I creating more thoughts and emotions and turmoil inside, or am I allowing my mind to rest? Am I allowing my mind to focus and rest on something? So we can also just have awareness throughout our day of the habits that we are creating with our mind. our minds are like a muscle. So right now they're kind of flabby and they're not, right now they're flabby and they don't have a lot of like grace or like control. But over time through meditation, we can train them. We can train them like a muscle and they can get stronger. And we can train our minds to be, with this stabilizing the mind meditation, we can train our mind to be calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. That's what it does. So, and this stabilizing the mind meditation creates space in the mind so that, you know, a lot of times if the space that we feel in our mind is like just this little bit and then something bumps up against us and we react to it, it takes up like that whole space. It's like it really takes up, like it feels like it kind of takes up all the space in your mind. All you see in front of you is your reactions. And it's like, how could you do anything other than react? It's just like it's all right there. You get some spaciousness in your mind and it starts to be like you can see the reaction come up in your mind, but it's not your entire experience. You can see it come up, you can go with it or not go with it. You can let it go. See the reaction come up and let it go. And we do that in meditation by focusing our mind on a single object. And then as our thoughts come up, we don't attach to them, we don't push them away, we just let them go. And then we get better at doing that throughout our day. With any reaction that we're having, you start to be able to just observe it and see it come up and see it go instead of being taken over and controlled by it. And this having the spaciousness in our mind gives us time to do that so that we don't just react right away. We have the time, we have the spaciousness to see that reaction so we can choose to respond instead of reacting habitually. That spaciousness also allows us to see beyond ourselves, beyond our self-concern, because it's again that's the habit that is really so strong, is our self-concern, and it's very difficult for us to see beyond that because that's such an ingrained habit. So when we develop this spaciousness, we also are able to see beyond that and start to realize, oh my gosh, there's other people here. There's other people in the world. There's other people in this room with me. This person I'm talking to, they might have feelings too. They might be having an experience right now, you know, and maybe I should be lifting them up more than myself. You know, maybe I should be thinking of others. But it's so hard to even consider others when our own self-concern and reactivity is so overwhelming and so overwhelmingly strong. So we first have to kind of, so this is like just a foundational practice. First thing is we've got to create some stability in our mind, some strength in our mind. And then this carries through to any other practice that you do. So learning how to focus the mind. You know, if you're doing an Amitabha practice, you're doing a Chenrezig practice, you're doing any of our deity practices that are more complicated, you know, with visualizations, having stability of mind will help you to stabilize in that visualization instead of like, oh, there's Amitabha, and my grocery list is over here too. And, you know, and just all these other things that I could be thinking about. Oh yeah, right, Amitabha, okay, right. Do I need bread at the store? You know, and it's just like you can stabilize more in that visualization when you practice just stabilizing the mind meditation. So a lot of times people want to treat the path of Buddhism like they're going to get an accelerated degree or something like that. They're going to just go as fast as they can through the classes or something like that. You know, you want to get to your master's degree and you're going to take extra classes. You're going to go really, really fast and get to the really exciting, super advanced practices. But the simple foundational practices, if you neglect them, it doesn't matter that you learning all this fancy stuff. You won't be able to do it. You have to learn the basics first. Otherwise, like it's people get spiritual insights through drugs, for instance. So you do a drug trip, you do shrooms or something and have oh wow, I saw God, I had this amazing experience. And people can have amazing experiences, but it's not going to be stable. You're not going to make kind of stable experience with that. You're not going to stay connected to that experience. And same thing with our spiritual practices. You might have like a really great day of practice. You feel super connected. And then the next day, did you even show up? Who knows? You don't have any stability and consistency. So we really have to focus on stabilizing the mind. And it's, I think, also part of our cultural habit of always wanting to be so productive all the time and be very goal-oriented and get places and do stuff. We want to be busy all the time. And here at KPC, we've got lots of stuff to be busy with. We have lots of things to build and weeding to be done and whatever. There's so many activities, people to feed through Buddhist Relief. There's so many activities that we need to be engaged in. And sometimes we use that as an excuse to neglect our own mind and to neglect the foundations of practice. And it's so easy to just go and do. And that can be easily rewarded because we've got a lot to do. We'd love it if you'd like to sign up to do something. But you don't get any prizes when you go and you sit on your cushion for a few minutes and you stabilize your mind. No one's going to be saying, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so glad that you sat for 5 minutes and did your practice. No one's going to do that. They'll say that if you sign up to paint the foyer or you sign up to clear the, weed in front of the temple or you do something, like people will be very grateful. And, oh, I'm so glad you did that. But there's no gold stars when you do the boring work of sitting on your cushion and focusing on your breath. But without doing that, you're not going to engage with any of the doing correctly. We have to, it's just, you can let the doing just stimulate your mind and keep you crazy. You can use that. You can use anything to keep you crazy, and even the Dharma, you can go, it's in how you use it. So we shouldn't neglect these very boring practices of just sitting with our breath and stabilizing our mind. Because you reach a point with the doing, you reach a point where suddenly you might get called out on the fact that you've just been tap dancing for a very, very, very long time and you feel like you're doing so much, but you might not even know what you're doing because you're so not present. And you don't have mindfulness and presence to even know what it is that you're doing. Is this worth doing? Where are you at? Have you can just really get spun out in activity. So Buddhism and our path, we have a lot of activity, but it's not intended to make you spin out in your mind with activity. We have to remember to be stabilizing our mind, and that is what allows us to then engage in an inexhaustible way in that activity. When we have stability in our mind, with our stability in our mind and stability in our intention and our compassionate intention. Right now, our compassion is sometimes we think of others, sometimes we don't. So the stability of mind also helps with that. And when we are, totally stable in our good heart, like how our teachers are, where you think of Jetsama or Twinis Rinpoche, they're never not thinking of others. They have total stability in their good heart. They are always compassionate. You're never asked that. You're never like, am I going to get Pen Rinpoche on a good day or a bad day? You'd never wonder that. You'd never think is he going to like me today? Is he going to be a mean person today? You would never think that. He's just glowing with compassion. all of the time. Like the sun has consistency, the sun has stability like that. It just always shines. And that's how the Buddhas are. They're not fickle like we are. So, so stabilizing our mind is very important to do. So that'll be the first practice we'll do today. And there's a very simple practice. And the first thing we do whenever we sit down to practice, the very first thing you want to do is center yourself in your intention, your compassionate intention. We should remember why we're doing this. People meditate for many reasons, but as Buddhists, we meditate for the benefit of all beings. We meditate, we pray, we sweep the floor, we do everything we do, ideally, with the intention of liberating all sentient beings from suffering. So, so the first thing we do is just take a moment to center yourself in that intention to liberate all beings from suffering. All right, and then we'll bring our attention to our posture. So you can do this practice sitting on a cushion or sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, you want to have your feet on the floor. You want to feel stable in your seat, not like sitting on a high bar stool with your little feet dangling off. So we want to feel very stable in our seat. And there's different cushions you can sit on to get comfortable. You'll place your hands gently in your lap. You can also traditionally hold one hand in the other with the thumbs touching and place the hands so the thumbs are just below your belly button. But you can also just rest your hands on your legs. We rest our hands face down when we do that. A lot of times in like yoga traditions, they do like a palms up thing, but that's not our tradition. We do palms down or hands like this. And then we'll just check in with our posture. Your spine should be straight like a stack of coins. One vertebra on top of the other. You can imagine a thread going up the top of your crown and pulling on that thread to make your spine tall. That visualization helps. Our spine is straight, but our muscles are relaxed. We're relaxed in our body. Our shoulders are back. Our elbows are out a little bit away from our body, so we have room around our rib cage to breathe. Having room around your rib cage to breathe, allowing the breath to flow unobstructedly helps our thoughts to flow without us getting stuck in them. So sometimes when we are meditating and we're collapsed in ourselves, it's easier to get stuck in our thoughts. So we sit up straight, lots of room for the breath to move. And then your eyes are going to remain open, looking downwards. You can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose, extending down to the ground. And find a place along that thread where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. Allow yourself to relax into your natural pattern of breathing. Sometimes when we start paying attention to our breath, we realize that we don't know how to breathe anymore. And it feels very awkward, like we've never breathed before. So if that happens, just let out like a really big exhale. Let out all your air. And that'll kind of reset your breathing to breathe deeply again. So settling into our natural rhythm of breathing, then we put a very light attention on our breath. You don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. And as you meditate, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Just let them pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice that you're following a thought, just drop it and return to your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. So that's our warm-up round. Let's do a short one first. Even just meditating for a short time like that every day, that was just 3 minutes. If you can do that every day, I swear it'll change your life. It will, just a little bit makes a huge difference. Just, it's like our minds are like paper that's like rolled up very, very, very tightly. And then all day long, we are rolling this paper tighter and tighter with everything we do. We're rolling it into this particular habit. And then we meditate, and it's like we're just, oh, we're going to roll this up. And then we let go, and then it rolls back up, right? Because we've been doing this for lifetime after lifetime. It rolls right back up. It's like a poster. It's been in your closet for a long time. But over time, you smooth it out. You smooth it out. And slowly, it doesn't spring back quite so tightly. You know, over time, it slowly relaxes and opens. Even just a little bit a day makes a huge difference. So we'll do this for a little bit longer. Try for a little bit longer. If there's anything about the way you're sitting that you notice you need to adjust, you can do that right now. If you're sleepy this morning, if you're sleepy or if you have too much mental energy, you can help that by with where you place your gaze. So if I'm sitting here and I have my eyes resting on this spot, if I'm really sleepy, then I can raise my gaze a little bit so that there's more light coming in my eyes. And if you've got too much going on, you need to chill out a little bit, you can lower your gaze a little bit so there's less light going in your eyes. And so you leave your eyes open, but you can kind of change the height of your gaze to help modulate your energy. And if you find it difficult to dismiss your thoughts during the meditation, if it helps, you can do a visualization. Like you can imagine like cutting the thoughts with scissors and then coming back to your breath, or like tapping them with a magic wand and they go poof and you come back to your breath. If you need a little tool like that, you can do that. But the important thing is to just let them go, come back to your breath. So there's no judgment. You're going to get distracted. Sometimes people are like, I can't meditate. I can't focus on my breath. That's the whole point. That's why we do it. None of us can focus on our breath. You're going to be leaving your breath like every few seconds, and then you're going to bring yourself back. And that's the exercise, is the noticing and bring yourself back. There's multiple stages to the practice, but like part of the practice is noticing and bringing yourself back. And over time, you will be able to stay on your breath for longer periods of time. But you're not doing anything wrong. Unless you just don't notice at all. If you just like, just thinking of other things, notice, bring yourself back, and you're doing fine. So we'll meditate for a little bit longer. So in our meditation posture, straight spine, muscles are relaxed. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. This practice is so relaxing to the mind, isn't it? It feels like you feel calmer, more grounded after doing it just for a few minutes, you know? It's so hard to stop what we're doing to just be useless for a few minutes, though. It's so hard. Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, I said this yesterday, what from I say this yesterday, but Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche says that it's so important to be useless for like 3 minutes a day, just 3 minutes a day, you know? You're not getting anything done while you're sitting here. You're just sitting with your breath. You're doing nothing. It's so important. We are always trying to be useful and get stuff done. And you know, we have so many goals and all of this. And just to let it go for just 3 minutes and just be with your breath. It's so important, both for stabilizing your mind and also for just practicing the renunciation of all your ideas and goals and everything. Just 3 minutes. Let it go for a few minutes. Let go of everything you want to do. Just be with your breath. Just be present. You can also, this is an easy practice to fit into your day. You can do this for 3 breaths. You know what I mean? Just take a moment. You're about to go in the grocery store or something. Just take a moment in your car and just focus on your breath for like 3 breaths. Why not? You know, you can afford 10 seconds and it's really makes a difference just building it in like that. And it also doesn't have to be your breath. You can focus your attention on, hello, welcome. You can focus your attention on a flower or a candle, or like if you're sitting and drinking your coffee in the morning, you can just put your attention on your coffee. Just take a few minutes and you're holding your warm coffee mug, put your attention on your coffee. Oh, you're thinking about what you're doing today? No, bring your attention back to your coffee. Oh, you're looking at the bird? Nope, bring your attention back to the coffee. You can just do that for a minute, you know? You can just take a moment anytime you can to just do the opposite of what you normally do and be present. So our next meditation that we're going to try is the Tonglen meditation. So Tonglen, Tonglen, or the giving and receiving meditation, is done to develop our compassion and equanimity. So in this practice, we imagine taking on the sufferings of others into ourselves and sending them our happiness. And through this practice opens our hearts to the suffering of others. It develops our compassion, helps us to set aside our own self-concern, you know, and think of others. And it also, through practicing this, we develop the equanimity to care for all beings, whether they're friends or enemies. You know, we care for all beings equally. So in this practice, we will sit in the same meditation posture, sitting up straight with your muscles relaxed. And begin by envisioning 1 or 2 beings for whom you easily feel compassion, a being whose suffering particularly touches you. This could be your parents or your children, your pet, a good friend. It could be a particular, you know, maybe you saw a starving child on the news or a hurt dog somewhere. You know, if you have a particular being that stands out to you, anyone for whom you easily feel compassion. Contemplate their misery, put yourself in their shoes, and imagine what their experience must be like, and give rise to compassion.
Cultivate in your heart the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. Then bring your attention to your breath. As you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. Imagine they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. And we're going to be breathing in our natural rhythm. And it's important to know it's very easy. In this visualization, it's very easy to take on their suffering as smoke. It just comes right to you very easily, like inhaling mountain mist. And as you send the light, they receive it easily too. This happens very easily along with your natural rhythm of breath. As we breathe in, take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they are completely free of misery. You might think, as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering. And then as you breathe out, you might think, may you be happy, visualizing that you are sending and they're receiving all your positive and loving qualities, all conceivable sources of enduring happiness, this radiant pure light, bring them limitless joy. So now we're going to repeat that again. And this time, we're going to visualize one or two people for whom you feel intense anger or aversion. So think of someone that you just can't stand, or someone who you feel, someone you just despise, or someone you're disgusted by, or someone you just, I don't know, maybe someone you're in conflict with or has hurt you, someone who you really hate or you're very angry with. Think of that person and put yourself in their shoes. Contemplate the ways in which they suffer. If they're so awful, they're probably suffering quite a lot. So think about what their experience must be like and give rise to compassion for them. And think about the suffering they're experiencing now, and if they are sowing causes of future suffering, you can have compassion for that too. Just consider their experience and generate compassion. Cultivate in your heart the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath. And following the natural rhythm of your breath, as you inhale, visualize taking in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering as black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize that you are sending and they are receiving all your positive and loving qualities, all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant pure light, bringing them limitless joy. You might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering, and as you breathe out, may you be happy. Now, I'm going to expand that visualization and keep going with this breathing visualization, but we're going to now include all those for whom you have similar feelings of anger or aversion. So invite more people you hate to this party. See them in front of you. And we're going to continue breathing in, taking in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering as black smoke, and they become completely free of misery. And breathing out, sending, and they are receiving all your positive and loving qualities, all conceivable sources of happiness as radiant pure light, bringing them limitless joy. And now expand it one more time. Expand visualization now to include all sentient beings. So now visualize all humans, all animals, all of the beings of all the realms we can't see. Imagine them all in front of you. And again, as you inhale through your nose, visualize taking in their suffering as black smoke. And as you exhale, visualize sending them all your good qualities and all sources of happiness as radiant pure light.
that's the Tonglen practice. You can do that anytime. Anytime. That's another one. It's easy to do. You can do it for brief periods of time. You know, if you want to, sometime if you just see something in the news that's really difficult, you know, you could just do Tonglen for it. Hold them as your object of compassion and do some Tonglen. And then expand it out and do for all beings. You just kind of always do someone it's like you do someone that's easy, someone that's hard, and then everybody. That's kind of the pattern with it. So one round with someone you love, like a parent, someone that's difficult to love, and then for you, and then expand it out to larger and larger groups of people. And you can spend time doing, you know, a little bit larger group of people, a little bit larger, a little bit larger, a little bit larger, or you can just do everybody. Just cut to the chase and do everybody. Yeah. It's such a wonderful practice. And you can visualize when you're sending them their happiness, you can visualize them singing and dancing and being so happy. And then it really does make you happy when you think about all beings being happy. It's a very joyful practice to do. So in this last meditation that we'll do is called the Light Expansion Prayer. This is by Jetsama Akanlamo. And Jetsama said, I'll quote from her here. Jetsama said in a teaching about this practice, she said, "Separation is the cause of all trauma, all pain, any grief that you have ever suffered anywhere or at any time. Anything that has ever hurt you or been a bother to you has been because you believe yourself to be separate from everything. Your true nature is absolute union or oneness. The true nature that you are is light." So we're going to do this light expansion prayer, this light expansion meditation, which works with that illusion of separation and helps us to understand our ultimate oneness. So let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute.
The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is, is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. So those are our 3 meditations for today. This light expansion meditation, there is a recording of Jetsima leading this meditation on our YouTube channel that you can play and listen to anytime. It's a really lovely, it's like an 8 or 10 minute video. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. What do we do next? If people have the questions related to the meditations, I can answer questions, or we can wrap up. So.
Should we do the Chenrezig?
Yeah. So then at the end of the Sunday class, we do this Chenrezig practice, which is a brief compassion practice. Chenrezig is the Buddha of compassion. In this form, he has 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes with which he sees and responds to the suffering of all beings. And so we pray to bring Chenrezig forward in the world, in our own hearts.
Okay, let's just do it in English.
Sure, we can, yeah.
Home.
Home.
In the
northwest country of Uriyana, born in the pollen heart of a lotus, endowed with the most marvelous spiritual attainments, you are renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a retinue of many dakinis. Following in your footsteps, I pray to you, please come forth and grant your blessings. Guru Pema Siddhi Hom. Om Ah Hom. Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hom. Your 1,000 arms of 1,000 universal monarchs. Your 1,000 eyes, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate age. you who teach each and every one of us according to our needs. Lord Avalokiteshvara, to you I pay homage. By this virtue, may I swiftly accomplish the state of Chenrezig, and may all sentient beings without exception be placed in that very state. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. And does anyone Jane, do you do closing announcements? Or Shelley's doing? Okay.
So thank you, everybody,
Yeah.
for joining us. Thank you, Atira, for those meditation, the guidance on those meditations, which I think we're all inspired to continue to do. And please stay and enjoy a cup of hot cocoa, which is coming shortly into the room. So we'd love for you to do that. It is traditional also, if you would like to make an offering to our teachers and to the temple, to Jetsma Akamalo, to Atira, and to the temple, and there's baskets right in the rear of the room that you may visit afterwards. So one more announcement for any of you who are interested in traveling west or who have friends in Arizona or further west. Kempo Karsay, who usually teaches on Sunday, is going to be giving a very special set of teachings and practices in Sedona, Arizona, December 26th through 28th. And in fact, you'll be able to see them in an e-blast that's going out tomorrow, Monday. And if you don't receive our notices, we send them out, with respect to not inundating anyone. So please do sign up at tara.org in order to receive announcements about special practices, special events that you may want to be aware of. So thank you very much.
Also, there's the Medicine Buddha class next week. You know about that? Okay, I can say next week, Saturday, at 1 p.m., Kempo Karsay will be giving a teaching on how to do the Medicine Buddha practice, the short Medicine Buddha practice that we insert sometimes in soak. You can also do it on its own. So there was a Medicine Buddha empowerment that we had sometime a number of months ago, and this is a follow-up class to that. And everyone is welcome to come. It's Medicine Buddha is a really wonderful healing practice that's easy to learn. So come and learn how to do it. Next Saturday at 1.
Someone's asking if there was any way online they could get these prayers and readings on the chat.
Which prayers and readings?
The ones that you've given, like the light expansion prayer and
We have a lot of resources on our website. So someone's asking if there's a way to access these prayers and things. If you go to our website, tara.org/meditate. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. If you go to tara.org/meditate, you can see we've got some videos there on how to meditate. And on our YouTube channel, we have playlists. There's a meditation playlist that you can watch different meditation videos and follow along with. Jetsuma's book, Stabilizing the Mind, is available on Amazon, and that has instructions on that first meditation we did. It's a really wonderful primer on meditation. And then there is a book by Chagdog Tulku Rinpoche called, what is it called? There's a book by Chagdog Tulku Rinpoche that has a lot of meditations, and that's where I'm getting this Tonglen meditation from. But there's a lot of different versions of Tonglen. So check out our website. Yeah, can't remember the name of that book right now, but check out our website. There's resources there. Hope that answers the question. Yeah.
So the Saturday's class next week,
Yeah.
how long is that? And what is medicine? Is that a medicine meditation or medicine teaching about how to make medicine? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's a teaching on how to do the medicine Buddha practice. So the medicine Buddha practice is it's a really short practice. It's kind of like this. So you start with like the 7-line prayer, and then it's a very short little visualization, and you say a mantra, and then you dedicate. It's like a very similar format to this practice, but it's to medicine Buddha, who is known for his healing qualities, and so we pray to him often for illness or healing from any physical issue like that. I'm not sure how long the class will be. I don't know how long it will take Kempo to explain it. The practice itself is very short, so we're probably setting aside 2 hours for the class, but it's probably going to be an hour, I would guess. Like I don't know. He might talk about medicine Buddha for a long time, or it might be a very short explanation. I'm really not sure. But it's at 1 p.m. Snack time. All right. Well, I think it's time for me to go feed my toddler son his lunch. So I'm gonna go, and I hope you all enjoy your cocoa and your snacks. Thank you all for being here.
How are you? Good, how are you? You did it. Yeah. I'm trying to get this